The town of Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in 1943 is quiet at dawn. The USS Eldridge lies anchored, metal decks polished, antennas reaching skyward, awaiting an experiment that will challenge the boundaries of reality. Sailors walk the decks, performing morning routines. The smell of oil and salt water hangs in the air. Inside, engineers and physicists prepare large magnetic coils and generators to warp electromagnetic fields around the ship. The experiment begins. A low hum fills the air as electricity surges through the coils. Observers report visual distortion, light bending subtly around the edges of the ship, giving the impression that it is disappearing. Sailors feel strange effects: nausea, disorientation, and the sensation of passing through metal. One sailor recalls seeing his arm merge with the hull. Dock workers witness the impossible. The ship vanishes and reappears seconds later. Compasses spin wildly. Radios emit static. Shadows flicker unnaturally. And the air smells metallic and electric. Navy logs show nothing unusual. Officially, the USS Eldridge remains docked. Routine maintenance recorded. Witnesses, however, describe events in letters and interviews with vivid detail. Sailors suffer lasting effects: unexplained burns, psychological trauma, and disfigurements. Families notice insomnia, obsession with light and metal, and hallucinations of the ship enveloping them. Experts later analyze the story. High-intensity electromagnetic fields and theoretical space-time warping seem impossible for 1943, yet reports remain consistent. Letters from Carlos Allende detail coil placements, field strength, and time of the experiment. Whether fabricated or true, they give weight to an otherwise unbelievable tale. By nightfall, the USS Eldridge remains an enigma. Shadows stretch across docks, the low hum fades, and questions linger. Did the ship vanish? Were sailors harmed? Or is it wartime rumor? Some sailors report the ship reappearing miles away, vanishing unpredictably. Patterns defy physics. Witnesses describe sailors partially fused with metal surfaces. One walked through a bulkhead as if semi-transparent. Others feel dizziness, nausea, confusion. Observers notice shimmering around the hull. Light bends unnaturally. The ship's shape seems fluid, almost from another dimension. Radios go haywire. Compasses spin uncontrollably. Shadows twist. The shipyard becomes quietly chaotic, though official records show nothing. Days later, sailors show permanent effects: partial blindness, disorientation, psychological trauma. Navy dismisses claims as stress or fabrication. Researchers and historians examine the alleged experiment decades later. Documents surface, witness interviews collected. Some dismiss claims, but consistency suggests unusual phenomena. Debates continue. Top secret invisibility experiment, misinterpreted phenomenon, or wartime propaganda. The story captivates all who study unexplained events. Allende's letters provide technical diagrams, coil placements, and calculations. Skeptics claim forgery. Analysts continue investigation for clues. Enthusiasts debate electromagnetic invisibility, warp fields, partial teleportation. Philadelphia experiment becomes a benchmark for unexplained military projects. The USS Eldridge remains a symbol of mystery, blending documented history with legend. Questions persist, a testament to human curiosity, fear, and the allure of the unknown. The shipyard lies silent, shrouded in mist and shadows. Only the memory of the USS Eldridge's mysterious experiment seems to linger in the air. Weeks after the experiment, sailors report unusual health effects. Some experience burns on skin, other psychological disturbances. The phenomenon remains unexplained officially. Families notice changes. Sleepless nights, obsession with metal objects, recurring nightmares of the ship's hull merge in with their loved ones. Observers outside the shipyard describe shimmering, flickering of light, as if reality itself wavered. Scientists later attempt to recreate conditions theoretically. Calculations show extreme electromagnetic fields would be required, far beyond 1943 technology. Official Navy records deny any unusual events. Logs show routine maintenance and normal activity, contradicting witness accounts. Eyewitnesses describe parts of the crew appearing merged with metal surfaces, partially transparent, moving through bulkheads. The USS Eldridge reportedly disappears and reappears in seconds. Reports of sudden teleportation to nearby waters emerge. Impossible to verify. Compasses malfunction. Radios emit static. Objects around the shipyard behave unpredictably. Witness statements describe lights bending around the hull, shadows flickering, air charged with static. Some sailors are hospitalized with burns and minor injuries. Psychological assessments note confusion, disorientation, and trauma. Letters and interviews collected decades later describe precise timing, coil placement, and equipment configuration, supporting unusual accounts. Debates ensue among historians and scientists. Is it invisibility, teleportation, hallucination, or wartime exaggeration? Audio recordings capture sailors' voices describing dizziness and partial blindness. The phenomenon remains largely anecdotal, but consistent. The shipyard's photographic evidence is sparse, yet images show the vessel with faint distortions and light-bending effects. Modern physicists analyze claims. Electromagnetic fields of such magnitude would produce catastrophic effects, yet no large-scale damage occurred. Witness testimony remains the primary source. Consistency across multiple accounts lends credibility to the strange events. Skeptics claim memory distortion or fabrication. Believers argue that multiple independent sources confirm anomalous phenomena. The experiment becomes legendary. Media coverage, books, and documentaries immortalize the USS Eldridge and its mysterious disappearance. Even decades later, the tale of the USS Eldridge fascinates those drawn to unsolved mysteries. The line between reality and legend blurs. The Philadelphia experiment stands as a symbol, unexplained, mysterious, and enduring, a reminder of how human curiosity confronts the unknown. Silent fog rolls over the dock, the outlines of the USS Eldridge barely visible. The experiment's shadow lingers, a testament to secrets and anomalies. Over time, interest in the Philadelphia experiment grows. Documentaries and books revive eyewitness accounts, detailing bizarre occurrences surrounding the USS Eldridge. Interviews with surviving sailors and their families reveal a mix of fear and fascination. Stories of disorientation, burns, and strange optical effects. Some reports claim partial teleportation. The ship reappeared in unexpected locations before returning to Philadelphia. Impossible for conventional science to explain. Naval archives remain silent. Officially, the ship never disappeared. Logs record routine operations. Nothing confirms eyewitness claims. Scientific analyses decades later attempt to reconstruct electromagnetic experiments. Calculations show massive energy required, far exceeding 1940s capabilities. Compasses, radios, and other equipment reportedly malfunctioned during the experiment, hinting at anomalies in electromagnetic fields around the ship. Theoretical physicists debate. Could invisibility or teleportation be achieved by warping electromagnetic fields? Opinions are split, and evidence remains anecdotal. Eyewitnesses describe surreal visions, metal blending with flesh, light bending around ship's hull, shadows flickering unnaturally. Some surviving crew members report long-term psychological effects: insomnia, anxiety, obsession with electromagnetic equipment. Historical analysis shows conflicting accounts. Official records contradict witnesses. Documents suggest possibility, yet evidence is inconclusive. Some researchers suggest the story may have been exaggerated, influenced by wartime paranoia and rumors. Yet the consistency of eyewitness accounts across multiple sources keeps the story alive in ufology and paranormal research circles. Local legends in Philadelphia speak of the ship as a phantom, appearing and disappearing, defying conventional understanding. Writers and filmmakers draw inspiration from these accounts, recreating the mysterious events in documentaries and dramatizations. Technology of the 1940s would not have permitted such feats, yet reports remain detailed and persistent. Some theorists claim the ship temporarily entered another dimension, explaining its disappearance and reappearance. The experiment becomes a symbol of unexplained military experiments, blending history, rumor, and science. Even in the present day, Philadelphia experiment captivates imaginations. Its story studied by historians, scientists, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Photographs of the USS Eldridge during the experiment remain rare. Some show faint distortions, light bending, and unusual visual effects. The USS Eldridge continues to symbolize the intersection of fact, legend, and the unknown, leaving questions unanswered, inspiring curiosity and wonder. The dockyard is quiet at night. Fog swirls around the ship as silence reigns, the legacy of the Philadelphia experiment lingering in the air. Decades later, the story of the Philadelphia experiment remains controversial. Researchers sift through archives, documents, and interviews seeking truth. Survivors' testimonies are strikingly consistent. Descriptions of light distortions, sudden disappearance, and physical sensations persist across accounts. Analysts review technical schematics, trying to understand the electromagnetic equipment allegedly used during the experiment. The concept of invisibility via electromagnetic fields sparks debates. Could 1943 technology have warped light and perception? Historical photos show USS Eldridge docked, with subtle visual anomalies captured in mist or light. Skeptics dismiss accounts as exaggeration, wartime hysteria, or misremembered events, but witness consistency challenges dismissal. Families of sailors recount unusual health effects, psychological disturbances, and lasting trauma following the experiment. Experts explore whether partial teleportation or invisibility is possible through high-intensity electromagnetic fields. Observers report eerie visual phenomena, shadows stretching unnaturally, shimmering outlines, and objects affected by electromagnetic interference. Documented logs show nothing unusual, fueling the mystery and the divergence between official records and eyewitness accounts. Researchers, decades later, study letters from witnesses, detailing coil placements, timings, and unusual occurrences. Modern physicists attempt to simulate the experiment using computer models. Results suggest immense power would be necessary to achieve invisibility. Theories emerge. Some suggest dimensional shifts, others claim perception manipulation. Definitive answers remain elusive. Photographs of the USS Eldridge, rare and disputed, sometimes reveal faint visual anomalies, bending light, or ghostly shapes. The story inspires books, documentaries, and discussions in paranormal and military research communities. Enthusiasts debate the physics, invisibility, warp fields, or misperception. Each explanation has supporters and skeptics. Public fascination grows. The USS Eldridge becomes a symbol of mystery and human curiosity about the unknown. Research continues. Modern investigations attempt to verify phenomena, yet evidence remains elusive, leaving the tale in the realm of legend. The Philadelphia experiment's tale persists in popular culture, a blend of documented history, witness testimony, and speculative science. At night, the dockyard is silent. Fog rolls gently, the USS Eldridge barely visible, its legacy of mystery lingering in the air. The Philadelphia experiment continues to captivate both scientists and paranormal enthusiasts, decades after the event. Analysts continue to study the alleged effects, crew members' health, ship anomalies, and equipment malfunctions. Survivor accounts remain detailed. Disorientation, partial invisibility, light bending, and fusion with metallic surfaces. Despite skepticism, stories of the USS Eldridge's sudden disappearance and reappearance persist, fueling curiosity and debate. Naval records maintain routine operations only, leaving contradictions with eyewitness accounts unresolved. Researchers examine the possibility of advanced electromagnetic fields, theorizing their ability to warp space and perception. Photographs occasionally show anomalies, faint shimmering light, strange shadows, subtle distortions in the water around the docked ship. Eyewitness testimony provides continuity. Multiple accounts describe similar experiences, lending credibility despite official denials. The experiment sparks debates. Is it invisibility, teleportation, hallucination, or a combination? Each theory has advocates and detractors. Some theorists argue for a dimensional shift explanation, the ship briefly leaving our plane of existence. Psychological effects linger for survivors: insomnia, obsession with metal, anxiety, and recurring nightmares. Letters and interviews document coil placement, timing, and equipment setup, offering insight into the alleged experiment. Modern physicists attempt simulations. Massive power would be needed to achieve the claimed invisibility or teleportation. Public fascination grows through documentaries, books, and online discussions, keeping the legend alive. Local lore in Philadelphia paints the ship as phantom-like, appearing and disappearing, bending light, evading explanation. Photographs and illustrations reproduce reported anomalies, shimmering outlines, bending light, and ghostly images of the ship. Researchers debate possibilities: electromagnetic distortion, time-space anomaly, or collective hallucination. Despite uncertainties, the Philadelphia experiment remains a potent story of mystery, science, and human curiosity. Even today, the shipyard holds secrets, a place where history, rumor, and speculation intersect, leaving unanswered questions. The legacy endures. The Philadelphia experiment serves as a reminder of the unknown and the power of human curiosity to confront it. Silent fog drifts across the dockyard, the USS Eldridge looming in shadows. The legend remains, its mysteries unsolved, captivating generations.